Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new Toa Talk. This is Toa Talk number 10. This is the 10th one in a row. No breaks yet. And we have Levo back from last week.
Hello.
Yeah, there's Levo. And we have a brand new, very, very special guest today. I've known this guy for quite a little while. His name is... You may know him by Noah Productions. You may introduce yourself, Noah.
Oh, dumb kids! This is Nectan! I'm kidding.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hi.
That's awesome.
I'm Noah. Yep. Last name Productions.
Noah, last name Productions. What's your middle name?
I don't know, dude.
You don't know your name?
It has to be
I can't improv.
You can't. No, it's all good. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Hi.
No, well, I'm
Thanks
really.
for having me.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm really happy to have you on. It's the first time that like Noah, Levo, and I were talking for the last 20 minutes. This is the first time that Noah and I have actually spoken over voice chat, and yeah, it's long overdue.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know. We go back a good 9-ish years. I think it's maybe 10 now, almost.
Almost 10. I mean,
10.
whenever the audition started.
Yeah, whenever those auditions started for, Ignition 1.
Yeah, what date was that video? I'm looking it up right now.
Oh man, I think I tried to find the audition video, but I couldn't locate it. But yeah.
I think I enlisted it because, I mean, it's still available in a playlist, but
I see.
I recently organized my videos.
That's very responsible of you. No, it's all good. It's not important. What's
we
your?
must know.
Yeah, no, you gotta stamp everything
Oh,
for.
I got it. June 11th, 2015. So there you go. That's,
oh wow, yeah.
That's the fateful day.
The fateful day. Oh man. All right, so I'm gonna run through the intro questions with you. What's your of course, like with whatever you're comfortable sharing. What's your profession / hobby other than being a YouTuber?
Oh dang. Well, I actually own my own business, so I do
really?
like photo and video services. So yeah,
Oh,
cool.
That's really cool. Yeah. No, we
Actually
haven't had
have
that
it with
answer.
my yeah. Actually co-own it with my wife, so that's been cool. We do that stuff, and then yeah, just kind of work for part-time work too on the side. But yeah, it's to do a little bit of everything,
Oh, that's sick. That's awesome. When / how did you get into Bionicle?
Oh boy, it's like from the start, dude. I mean,
you're an OG.
Dad got me like, what the McDonald's toys. I think that's what did it. Like 2001 to Hunga.
Nice.
And then yeah, so I enjoyed those so much. Dad must have just been like, yeah, he needs more of these, so he just bought me like most of the Toamata right away. So yeah, I think Pohatu or Onua, we had those around for the longest. So those were probably my first proper sets, but yeah, that's
Oh, that's really cool. What's your favorite year?
ooh, that's a good question.
Hey, that's my answer.
Each year has its own great stuff going on, but I
know.
probably feel the most nostalgia for like obviously the Ignition years, because that's
for no particular reason.
Well, I think it's out of my love for those years came the desire to make those films. So yeah, 2006, 2007, like yeah.
Yeah, no.
When I really got into Bionicle.
Fair enough. No, those are definitely some of the best ones for sure. What's your favorite set from Bionicle G1?
Man, it's just hard to pick, dude.
Oh yeah, if you can't say your number one, you can always say like top 3, maybe 5. Like
yeah.
So it's like slightly nice to see someone else go through the same pondering. Like my brain work.
Yeah,
What is my favorite set?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're type of questions that like you can definitely answer like maybe like over text or something when you have like room to reply, but like when it's like on the spot you're like yeah.
I mean, I always go for Brutaka, like
Oh yeah, classic.
he's just a killer Titan, man.
No,
Yeah.
Definitely. No, great pick. And last one, what's your favorite canon character?
That's like a different type of question right there. 'Cause
Yeah.
Yeah, Bionicle had some pretty sick characters.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A lot of depth. I mean, you can't go wrong with Pterodax. He's just so like well fleshed out.
No, he's such a
Yeah.
great villain. Yeah, like no, those are all fantastic picks, definitely. And at
The wrong answers, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah, no wrong answers. Like, what would be a wrong answer for a favorite?
Or no,
gaming
XL.
character? Oh, for yeah, that's definitely. Like, I had to like register that in my brain for a second. I was like, what did he say? I was like, oh god, for no XL, Storm or XL.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of each podcast, and this was definitely coordinated. We do a retrospective of each year of Bionicle. We've been going backwards. Last week was 2007, and this week is 2006. This was quite a different year for Bionicle. This was like they finally got out of the prequel Metro Nui era kind of years, and this is where the story was kind of getting back to the present, and they were moving things forward. And it was a pretty radical reapproach from what some people were expecting. Like this year, I believe was somewhat semi-controversial initially, but obviously like it's a lot of people's favorites. And this was the year that I got into it, which kind of turns some people's heads because they're like, oh, like that's kind of a weird year to get into. But I feel like at that point in the story, like things weren't like super spread out at that point. Like I had friends that caught me up, and they had older brothers as well that would catch you up as well. So I feel like I got pretty lucky in like sliding in there. But yeah, no, like what do you guys remember from when 06 was coming out?
I remember flashy lights.
Yeah, flashy lights.
Flashy lights.
The
yeah.
swords.
The swords, the eye
And
stalks.
the Baraka eyes. Flashy
Yeah,
lights
dude.
everywhere.
All the gimmicks.
All the gimmicks.
All the gimmicks. Yeah.
But dude, the Paraka were such good sets. They had so much going on.
So
It's
cool.
incredible.
I remember the first time I saw like the trailer with the Paraka rap, and I was like, oh man, we're going into gangster territory with the Bionicles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember at the back of like a 2005 catalog for Lego or whatever, there was this like silhouette or whatever of a Paraka. Like that was the image we were presented as fans. Like this is what's coming next year, and it was pretty cool.
What was your opinion on the tonal shift?
So I said that 2001 was like the year that I like, you know, I got my first sets and everything, but I'd say it wasn't really till 2006 that I really like latched on and started to like follow the story and stuff. So as far as the tonal shift, I guess I didn't really like witness it fully because I didn't know what was going on, dude, with like the story for half of the Bionicle's lifetime. It was just like toys, and obviously had like some comics and stuff, but I feel like 2006 was like when it really, I guess, connected for me.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm in the similar boat as I mentioned last week, because basically I only really started actually looking into the story with the Ignition trilogy and all that, kind of like its setting. Because before then, I was just building my own stuff, dude. So like basically, like the first couple of years is like, yeah, I was like, I watched the movies, I experienced them. I was like, yeah, I want to do this when I'm older. I want to make films and stuff. I want to do my own story, and therefore I just built my own stuff, and I kind of ignored the main story.
Yeah.
Myself, Mark Glavoris, I actually rebuilt his original form, but his original form was built 2003 towards the end by taking a Nuba torso, Rakshi limbs, and a Nuba shoulder pad as his mask. That is my original version of him, and he's been around since 2003. So, I've been building my own stuff for a long time. So I want to say I didn't really experience the tonal shift because I wasn't really paying attention to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. No, that's interesting. I just remember, I mean, like, you don't really, like, there's still, like, OGs around. Like, I've talked to a lot of, like, OGs. But I feel like the people that kind of, like, had issues with things changing have kind of, like, phased out of the community a bit. Because I do remember, like, specifically around like it's like when the TTV was kind of like kicking off and all that. They were kind of, it wasn't just them, like it was more people. I'm just kind of like, I use them as an example because most people in the Bionicle space kind of know who they are.
Right.
Yeah, like some people kind of had like some issues with it, like being like darker and all that. I mean, like outside of like maybe the Inika rubber heads, like I don't really, as for me, I mean, I'm a little bit biased because I got into Bionicle during '06, so I was used to everything. But yeah, I never really kind of understood like people being like, oh, it's like totally different from other years and all that. I was like, well, things got more intense because this was like when the story was like cracking, like it was like rising up, you know, like the stakes were being raised. Like Manui's no longer asleep, he's dying. Like the threats were no longer just like titans or just like grunts. It was like you actually had villains as canister sets, like with actual like character. Which
Yeah,
was really
dude.
cool. Yeah, and
Year started with the villains. That was huge.
That was a big change. Yeah, like, and it's, I don't know. I'm sure it was coordinated with like the writing and all that, but I just think it's just so perfect in the story how like the Matoran like mistake them for Toa, and they're like
right.
And when they come out, like they're just supposed to be like the Toa for that year. People are like, what the heck's going on?
Like,
yeah.
I was almost, I don't know, but it's a little tangent, but you know, I just unlocked some memories. You know, they had the web games. They had like the Minotaur and like escape web game. That was a thing.
Oh yeah.
I remember that.
I remember grinding the hell out of that thing.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, I remember playing the web games on Bionicle.com back when
Same.
there was a Bionicle.com, especially for '06. The oldest game they had on there was Minog 2.
Oh, I played that. It was so buggy.
Yeah,
I remember that they took Minog 2 off when they did the 2007 stuff, when they went like with the Mari line and all that.
Yeah.
All those previous games were removed, and I remember being so sad that Minog 2 was gone.
Yeah.
But I do think I spent more time on like Matoran Escape, just, you know, getting through those levels.
That was a fun one, yeah.
Eventually learning that if you spam the Matoran switch, you become invulnerable. That's how you get past Hakan's stupid rail shooter boss level. What the hell? Yeah. I'm suddenly like about 10 times more happier than I was this morning because I just unlocked a whole bunch of memories. Yes.
Yeah, I loved Boya Nui online game. That one I played a lot.
Vinog.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Vinog, yeah.
With the like the music from Barnacle the game, like the
Yep. 2 tracks they used.
Yeah. And something else that was cool of '06, speaking of games, is that like we got Bionicle Heroes, which I think is actually a pretty solid game. Like
yeah.
It's just like I talked about it in like the video game episode, but like it is too easy. Like even for like a Lego game, it's like kind of like too easy. Like if you want to like get a game over, it's like you have to force yourself to basically get a game over.
Yeah.
But it's like such, I don't know, like I think the perfect description that my friend Zav said when he was on there is that like it's like Bionicle fast food. Like it's like awesome. Like the music is awesome. Like it's not connected to canon at all. Like there's no like aside from like it's funny because they kind of like loosely tried to like there was like those things you can unlock that would tell you things about the story, but then they would have characters that are like supposed to be dead in the game.
Right, Rudaka and
yeah, and like Sidorak, Nadiki, Kreka, and But yeah, I know, but like I thought that was just like a really good game, and the vibe was perfect. Yeah,
it's good for kids, you know, like at our age when that game came out, it was perfect.
Yeah,
look, I remember seeing the trailer for it on YouTube, right? And I was like, "Yo, this is cool." And then my dad took me to it was a day we went up to Toys R Us, the local one, but basically across the road from the Toys R Us, they had PC World. I remember going in PC World and seeing that they had like the one of the like rotating like stands, you know, like sometimes where you can have glasses and like some of them like normal chain stores. They had one of these with like the baskets, and it was just basically Barnacle Heroes all the way up to the top. I remember spending about half an hour trying to convince my dad to buy me the game, and he was like, "No." Reason
Dang.
being, he'd been there the day before, and he'd already got me a copy, and he wasn't about to buy me a duplicate.
Oh my!
Because I remember sitting in the car being so bummed out, just sitting there sad.
Wow.
Then we
That's
get home, and my
rough.
dad's like, "Come with me." He just hands me the game, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, there you go."
We really were at the whim of our parents, like as far as our game
yeah.
collections went. It's kind of funny to
Oh.
look back on.
Yeah, well, like, I don't know, like the PS3 era of games, like, I mean,
Yeah.
like, that was like when my dad would start playing like Call of Duty, like Black Ops 1. So like the video game collection excuse was kind of like obsolete because it's like, okay, well now he's playing some of the game. So
Right.
yeah, because before that it was like we had I don't remember this, but apparently he had a Sega Genesis that we would play games on when I was like super young, like too young to remember. Then we had the original Xbox.
Nice.
Played the original Lego Star Wars and the Crash Bandicoot game we were talking
Sweet.
about earlier. And then yeah, then GameCube era hit, got Lego Star Wars 2 and some Jimmy Neutron game or something. And then yeah,
Classic.
Bionicle Heroes, yeah, so that's pretty sick. Really good
Yeah.
era for video games and stuff.
I still have my disc copy somewhere.
Yeah, I still have mine. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I still
surprisingly
have
in
it.
solid condition.
Yeah, like no, I have mine pretty
Yeah.
much at hand. I know where it is, and obviously, I was kind of raised as a PC kid from the get-go. Like,
wow.
I had my first console when we moved here, and I was waiting for my PC to arrive from our shipping container. So my dad went and bought us a console. We got like the original Xbox. Now that it was like retro, and like basically no one had one, so it was like dirt cheap. But I was kind of like raised as a PC kid, and so I have both the Bionicle games on PC. And it blew my mind when I discovered that basically sometimes the consoles, or you had like the portable versions, were actually different.
Yep.
I grew up like
It is really
the
interesting.
Game Boy Advance version of this is like it's a different game altogether.
Yeah,
Yeah. Or the DS version.
yeah, the
Or
DS,
the DS
yeah.
version, and they're all kind of unique in their own way. It's like
Yeah, I love it.
I'm
Such a
tempted
unique
to hunt
part
down
of
the
that.
DS just to try and get those.
Yeah, I've wanted that version. I got a DS recently, so
I have.
shout out to my buddy
okay,
Tanner
go
who
ahead.
tried to collect. Tanner tried to collect every single version of that game, every single
Oh.
version of Heroes.
Nice, nice.
Sorry, what were we gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, I have there's these little like, I have like my DS, but there's like this cartridge you can get for the DS called an R4, and you can basically just load it up with a bunch of like ISO or ROMs. The ROMs being like the game files. So
Yeah.
one of the first games I downloaded was Bionicle Heroes. I was like, this is literally just Doom but Bionicle, and this is pretty
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Sweet.
And it was rated T, I think, too. The DS one.
I think you're right. Yeah.
it's just so funny. I think the console one almost got a T rating. I don't know what they did to make it.
I think it was because it was first person and they switched it to third person or something.
Oh, okay, that's funny. Yeah, because they were like, well, first person shoot that equal gun and it equal bad.
Right.
So it's like, okay, well, third person now, and now you can see the Bionicle. It's like, okay, you guys are good.
Right?
E10 up.
That makes it better.
Yeah, it's
I'm not gonna lie
much
though. I
better.
did kind of feel that was the right choice. Though I feel like Bionicle Heroes wouldn't have been the same if it
Yeah.
was a first-person shooter.
Yeah, it would have been quite different, like just playing it
Yeah.
and all that. But I mean, I'd like to see a mod or something, like someone like adjusting the game to do that. I mean, obviously, like that would require a good bit of amount of work, but I think it can be done.
Yeah, I mean, like as much as I'm not overly keen on remasters. I think if someone sat down and remastered the first two games, that'd be pretty good. But obviously, we're not going to get it done professionally because it's not a viable product anymore, is it? Like, I don't make
Yeah,
that.
right.
But so it definitely have to be a fan project, and I know making a remaster is not,
That's
it's
not
obviously
unheard
maybe
of.
not as time consuming from making something from scratch, but
Yeah.
you got to find someone that actually knows how the engines work with those games, because I don't think they were actually released. I don't know what engines they were built in. The one that actually, knows how the scripting for it works and all these internal factors in order to get it going. To the
Yeah.
point, it might actually just be better or easier to make a remake.
It's funny, like I
But
met a lot of people
regardless-
that like kind of figure that that stuff out or just know that information. I'm like, how the
Yeah.
hell did you find this information? Like,
Yeah, I know,
like,
right?
Yeah, like that's crazy. But I'm sure there's someone in the community that knows how to do that. I wouldn't be surprised if I've already talked to someone that knows how to do that, but I
Yeah.
just didn't talk about it. Yeah, like again, like I think I definitely think there's a way, but obviously like people are busy remastering other things. I think someone remastered Minog a little while ago, like to fix up either the grammar issues and like the slight graphical differences, like Jala's feet being red and like when you talk to him,
Yeah.
just like little things like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's so funny.
I love what not BC Power, Biomedia Project, that they have great stuff
Oh yeah, no, they're
going
awesome.
on there.
I hope they don't get taken
Where I get
down
all the
from
games.
Nintendo. If there's one company to be like, oh, you can't have this here, it's going to be Nintendo. And I know they definitely have every version of Heroes on there. But yeah, no. But yeah, well, back to the main parts
Back
of
to
those
topic.
six. Yeah. The Matoran of that year were interesting little builds. They obviously recycled the Metru Kanohi, which is nice for people that didn't get the Toa Metru, and so they got those like parts and all that. And
They had recolors, dude.
I don't know why they do the recolors. Like, I felt like,
Come on.
yeah, like it was just kind of unfortunate. I really don't know why they did that. Like, I would assume that they would have run out of budget, but they came out before the Toa did. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe like the Paraka
Well, I feel like they would have
spines.
been factored into beforehand anyway. But I mean, like to my understanding, it wouldn't have been much just to swap the color containers around for the injection mold. I don't think it's going to cost much else. Maybe the actual pigment probably vary cost. But
I almost
you know,
wonder.
you're still producing 6 masks in different colors.
Right?
Yeah.
So you know, maybe a little swap of a bucket here, and there you go.
When they do stuff like that, when they reuse like parts that we consider like common, I almost wonder if like it's like excess like in from the factories,
Probably.
like, you know, like because
It's gotta be.
I was talking to Levo about like Karzani and like the Vakama heads and how in the prototype of Matao Hordika he has the green Vakama head, and obviously I'm not saying that they had like that mass produced or anything at that point, but I think they like in that scenario they had that part in like their parts bin to use for prototypes, and they probably just pulled those out and were like, yeah, let's just do that. Yeah, it's just funny looking at a set like Karzani where there's like 5 or 6 like recolors of parts, and then like you look at the Matoran and there's like, okay, well they're the exact same masks as before, but
No, well, one of them had a recolor and the other one didn't. I was like, you could have just had a different mask.
well, yeah, I was talking about the Moya Matoran, but yeah, the Blue Roo.
The Blue Roo's the thing.
Oh, good. It's so expensive. That's why I spray painted mine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got like 3 or 4 of the suckers.
Oh god.
What?
How
much do you want for one?
Here's the thing: is I basically I have my own collection. I bought plenty of lots that are just blind, so people sometimes get rid of stuff they don't know the worth of. And then I bought 2 of my friends' collections.
Oh.
So, yeah.
So they all just happen to have Karzani, is what you're telling me.
Apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got multiple parts. I say around 4. I think I've got probably maybe 3.
That's still
4th
pretty
one
good.
is wow. Yeah.
I will say
The cheapest
it's easy to
Ruru is
reproduce.
$72 on Bricklink.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
Let's look that up.
That's gross. That's disgusting. Oh man, I don't want to like doom about Bionicle inflation. I'm just like, oh stop. But like, oh no.
Don't worry, I'm gonna do the following: is I'm gonna cut one up to make a custom mask just to annoy people.
No,
Bro, don't do that.
dude. There's like limited quantities of this stuff.
I know. It's like the same reason why I don't know why, but I had like 7 Olmecs. I only bought Brutaka once.
Yeah, they did put that in
You
a
know.
playset a good amount of times. I think like 2 times.
Yeah,
they
that
had
makes
it.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I may have got one of the playsets. I got one Brutaka myself. I know I got a duplicate of one of my friends' collections, and then I also got 2 of the Cardass Dragon set. So I'm pretty sure I got 2 in there as well. So
Nice.
I have
There you
one
go.
that's mysteriously appeared. I was like, where are you from?
I mean, if you're
Dang.
getting lots that have like Karzanis in them, it's not too far fetched to
Oh,
see
yeah,
that you get an extra
I'm-
Almac or two. Like,
Where do you
Yeah,
find these lots, dude?
yeah, like
I basically
Look it
I walk into secondhand like trading stores and go, have you
Oh,
got
okay.
Bionicles? And
Yeah.
if they do, I just take the entire thing. I don't like try and portion it out or anything. I'm just like, yeah, just give me all of it. I'll sort it
Oh.
out later. And there you go.
It's so overwhelming. I finally rebuilt all my sets, and the amount of like organizing it's taken to get to this point is like, I'm not as young as I used to be. That's all I gotta say.
oh man.
That's
Crazy.
No,
Yeah,
I know how that's one because obviously Ben knows. Is I recently returned from a trip from the UK and I actually had to come back with like 23-kilo bags, of which about anywhere between 45 to 50 kilos of that was just Bionicles. I just
Oh,
found them
dude.
right- I have so much to sort right now.
Days of work.
I basically I made a pledge is I want to try and get to a post video on Instagram. I have not been posting on Instagram. I have been building Warhammer and I've been sorting this Lego haul. It's
Yeah,
still
dude.
got half of my room is like basically just on the floor right now. Just
Good
waiting.
Yeah.
My
no.
wife hates me sometimes.
No.
Okay.
Oh man.
I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna send a picture to you guys so I can get your reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I get a new lot of parts now from Craigslist or Marketplace, I'm trying to sort all my stuff by color, but like obviously to get to like my main collection, I'm like, yeah, it's gonna take a long time. I'm just gonna sort every single new thing I get so that I can. Holy God,
Oh my goodness, dude.
dude, how do you have that much
I have to
space?
still through all of that. I have to still through all of this stuff, man.
Yeah,
Horrible.
I'm not. I
Do you
might.
sleep in that room?
Yeah, I'm like on the other side, and I've got my bed and my computer. Yeah.
At least you got drawers to organize it. There you go.
Yeah, but as you can see, I have a lot of sort out. I have no clue if I might have any additional stuff in there. It's just gonna be hilarious if I
Good
do.
lord. Oh.
I'm
Alright.
beckoning my wife. She needs to see this photo.
Oh.
She needs to be grateful that this is what her house looks like. This is Levo, one of the guys on the podcast. That's what he's got going on. He says he likes me better. That's funny, dude.
Hey,
I'm proud of you. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
Think
hey.
It's gonna take a lot of work.
Oh,
I know. I'm still working on it.
yeah, my attic's like spread out. It's just more so like I got parts that's like I've just placed over different parts of it. But like if I put it all into like a certain corner, it's like somewhat manageable. And like, oh yeah, that's just a lot of organizing.
Yeah.
That's not just Bionicle. It's like Warhammer kits too and things like that.
I got a
I
couple
can't
of
imagine
Warhammer
having
to me,
that
but
too.
the rest of the room is bound. This is my Lego room, so basically everything on the shelves is Lego or Bionicle. Everything in the drawers is Bionicle. There is something which I don't think you can see, but basically to the left of the chair, there is another shelving unit with more shelves full of Bionicle. like-
Amazing.
Wow.
To the right, there is a shelf unit pointing towards the inside, which is at the end of my bed, and that has also got loads of Bionicle on it. I have a lot to sort out.
Yeah, dude. Oh, that's a lot. But yeah. Anyway, what did you guys first think of the Toa Naiko when they came out with the new head kind of design thing going? Cause
So, my first impression of the Igniker was this is a dope ass trailer. This music slaps. This is like
Oh,
the
yeah,
best
dude.
thing ever.
yeah,
And then that was more or less the same time that one of my mother's like friends from her days working as a medic came to visit, and he hadn't brought anything for me or my sister as a present, so they went shopping and it was like, well, what does he like? And my mom was like, oh, he likes Bionicles. I was like, all right. And so they went and had a look. They were on the shelves and they're like, well, which one do we get? And I was like wondering, and it's like, just take all of them. And basically, I got all sick of Nike the
Oh,
same
what?
day, bro.
Damn, dude.
my brain was blown. I was like, yo, I could
Nice.
recreate the trailer like right now.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, that's awesome.
Reminds
was
me of when I got
great.
my dad bought all the Metro for me on the same day. That was a good day.
Oh shit, nice. That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, like
Sweet.
what? But what'd you think of like the rubber heads? Because like Lego for a few years, where they were like experimenting with like the Hordika,
Yeah,
like their different head
Yeah.
thing going on, and
I
then
was actually really keen to see if they'd actually have more like that because I really liked the concept because it was a mask that didn't actually have like a piece you'd have to jam into the head. And I was like, I don't know why, but as a younger kid, I was like, these barnacles are going around. Their teeth must hurt, dude. Their jawlines got to be sharp as they're basically holding on to these masks for dear life with their teeth, you know?
Oh.
So, like,
I don't need that image. That's so weird.
so when they came out with the Ignite, I was like, oh, these masks actually sit on them like masks. I was like, I was stoked. I was like, these are cool. Wow.
It's
I didn't
kind
like
of-
the limited amount of eye colors because they obviously had the one piece that was like that lime green and white
Yeah,
to
they
the
all
head.
had green. Yeah.
But I was stoked, dude. I was like, this is cool. And then they basically just never did it again. So you got like 6 months. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they were supposed
They're
to be
alright.
glow in the dark originally, like in their prototypes. Well, I mean, like there was the original prototypes where they have like traditional Kanohi, but then like they
That's right.
but I think I heard that they were supposed to be glow in the dark heads, so like the eyes would light up. But I don't think they got that to
That'd
work.
be cooler.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense in the comic where I forget which one takes off their mask, but it's like they're just like blinded by the light from that's underneath the mask. But yeah,
I can't see no. My eyes.
Dude, my effect for that was so trash in the movie, though.
oh man, I don't remember that. Oh no,
It's
it
easy
wasn't
to
that bad.
It's easy to poke fun at stuff you made 9 years
Yeah.
ago, you know.
Oh yeah, well yeah, definitely. I mean, dude, I feel the same way like when I listen to like the old lines specifically for the first Ignition. It's like, yeah, you know, I'm a kid, but it's just like also like, come on, bro.
It's endearing. Come on. you know?
Yeah, no, it's definitely like, you know, like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But yeah, but 2006 also had probably like, would you guys say the 07 Titans are better or the 06 Titans?
The
Oh.
06 ones were good because it was the first time we got the piston piece. And that really gave them a presence as a Titan
Yeah.
set.
That's true.
You know, because basically before that, the Titans we had before was basically like Pterodax, a couple of the Dark Hunters. We had Sidorak with Dark Kitongu, and they were basically just slightly larger. And there you go. You know,
Mhm.
Oh no, Axon and Brutaka specifically had such an imposing presence because they had these pistons on their legs as well. Fenrak
Yeah.
not so much, but that's because he was like four-legged spider thing and he was like facing down, so
You
you
still
didn't
had the
really
pistons,
see the
but
scale.
yeah.
You still had the pistons, but you didn't feel the scale behind it. You know, with Brutaka, he's got
Yeah.
them pistons on his legs, and you're like, this guy's so large, he needs secondary legs for his legs because otherwise his knees are gonna go.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, and it gave them a very imposing presence. And then I feel like some of the builds for 07 were nicer. You know, changing the direction a bit, but aesthetically, I want to say that the 06 ones were nicer to look at.
I agree.
You know,
Yeah.
the build, as in like the actual builds were better in 07, but the style for the first ones in 06 was just on Paramount. It was cool as hell.
Yeah. No, I think I definitely agree.
And I was like, especially if you look at Axon, right? You had like the Nuva chest with the Nuva pauldrons as his chest, and you're like, yo, that's
Yeah.
what like Toa used to wear as over all their body, pretty
Yeah.
much. You know, that's just his chest piece. You know.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
What would you say, Noah? Which ones would you say are superior?
Yeah, I'd agree with everything Levo said. I mean, like aesthetically, 06 is better, but like as far as the builds go, 07 is like, except for Gadunka. I gotta
Yeah,
say he's kind of a trash Titan. Like, hope there's no Gadunka fans out there.
My opinion on
I'm a fan,
Gadunka is
but-
he's the only one-to-one scale barnacle set because obviously the one in the story is one that's been like mutated to grow really large.
Yeah.
So my mental image is like the Gadunka set is an actual like one-to-one scale. That's how they would look like normally in person.
That's
Small
a
little thing.
funny way of looking at it. Yeah, which
But
would
I
you
mean,
say
I
was...
was
Oh yeah, sorry, you go ahead. I think there's a slight delay.
I was super excited to get both for Christmas of each year. I mean, there's a certain feeling you get when you get Titans on Christmas
Mhm.
Day, man. Like
Yeah.
back then was so cool. So as a kid, I loved both of them. You know.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. Which ones would you say were easier to animate with back when you were doing both
Oh.
action films?
That's a good question. I mean, that's a whole nother like aspect to all these figures. Like the Paraka suck, dude. With their spines, it was quite a struggle to move their arms around.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, I can see that.
it's-
I mean, like, as someone who's been
Titans?
wanting to turn the Paraka, or like the Skakdi in general, to a digital thing, I was like, how do I make the
Yeah.
spine? That's my major thing,
Right?
because, do I layer it with bones and then animate the bits individually, or do I try and automate it, which would probably involve even more bones? I don't
Right.
know. So the Skakdi's design is so cool, but it's also so impractical to animate, not just physically, but digitally as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. I don't think there was a difference with the Titans to answer your question.
Hmm.
They were pretty much the. I mean, Brutaka was tall, so like trying to get shots with him, like when I had like a lot of figures on screen too, it was got
Mhm.
pretty tight in my little like green screen poster board I had as my background, but
Yeah.
I made it work.
No, that's cool. That's cool. But yeah, no, '06 was a pretty good year. Where would you guys rank it on your Bionicle totem pole? Like,
Ooh. I'll say about fourth place. I don't know, because we talked this a bit last week. And I think my favorite would have been '07 with the Mari lines and stuff.
yeah, that's
Then following that would be the Glatorian stuff. I really like that because I'm a
Yeah.
bit of a history nerd, so I really like the whole like concept of gladiators and stuff. And then my third would be like the original year, like 2001, like the whole tribal, like villages kind of thing, and we live on the island. So I want to say a sixth, probably say about fourth there. After that, definitely preferred it over stuff like the Metra and the Vizirek stuff. I know a lot of people have a very strong like inclination towards that because of the style and all that, but I know that year was a bit of a weak link in my experience. I want to say, just because I was more busy building my own stuff, and so
fair enough.
I didn't really feel like it was all that. Yeah, the third film's got four-legged spiders, and that's kind of cool. I remember absolutely decimating my room by tying up green wool everywhere to resemble the webs. My parents did not enjoy it.
That's awesome.
That's sick.
Yeah, I remember cocooning a whole bunch of them to do the films and
Yeah.
stuff, and then later cocooning my own mocks and all that. But I wouldn't
Nice.
really grade that as a way of saying that was a good year. For me, that was just something I did,
Fair enough.
Those are good
But
memories.
it's just the aesthetic, because obviously
Yeah.
the main thing that really allowed me to experience the Ignition like storyline from the get go was the animated comic online. The one that had like the mini games built in. It started the Paraka Flash animation, I think is what it's called.
Sure.
And that obviously it gives off the perspective from the Paraka first, and you see how they are, and then the Toa turn up, and it's all this kind of like ongoing narrative, and you actually see like how the Toa are basically easily taking over the challenges that the Paraka had to struggle with.
Yeah.
But then like the Paraka themselves are much more imposing and dangerous, and you're like, this is cool.
Yeah. Now, what about you, Noah?
Yeah, for me, much the same. It's those like last 4 full years of Bionicle, like '06 to '09. Like those are like peak for me. I just love, and to rank those 4 years is hard, but yeah, because I guess 2009 is probably the lowest of the 4 for me, just because I'm not a fan of the departure
That's
it
fair.
took. But I love the sets. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, the sets are cool.
And that goes for all. I mean, it also it matters to me, like the games that Lego.com had on the website, like were so iconic and got me really pumped in the same way the comics did for you, Levo. Like,
Yeah.
2007 especially with their like Mari games they had and
Oh yeah,
that series.
No,
I was like
I remember the
so
06
into
games
that.
quite clearly. I remember not being much of a fan of the Glatorian Arena games because they were kind of simple.
Yeah.
Which I understand because obviously designed for kids, you want an easier game so they can actually beat it and then feel accomplished and all that. But I don't know, I feel it could have been interesting. I feel like it would go insanely hard now as if we had like a Souls-like, 1v1 Glatorian Arena. Dark Souls just roll around each other and stuff. That'd be pretty cool. I'm gonna have to put that on my list of things to tamper with
Yeah,
and
that'd
then
be sick.
we try and burn out.
Well, I'm sure something I noticed with with Bionicle, and I mean I noticed with other IPs as well. But definitely as time goes on, like years that were maybe like not a lot of people's favorites initially become like fan favorites. So I could see there being like a 2009 renaissance in like a few years. Like people will
Oh yeah.
really
For
get
real.
into that, and there might be some fan projects that come out of that, like a Dark
I'm
Souls
already
or
on it. I'm already on that damn thing.
You gotta get
You know,
started
it's
now.
like yeah, so I mean, as Ben knows, no, it doesn't. But basically, I've been slowly going through and making Glatorian mocks, and each one of them is actually styled after one of the gladiator classes from ancient Rome. And so I'm trying to get them with like the actual loadouts and stuff that they would have carried and stuff. Yeah, so I have
Nice.
like I think my main one is Tridus. He's a ice Glatorian, and he's a Retroarius. So he has a trident and a net. Cool thing though is that they would only carry armor on their left arm. So you look at the mock, he's only got armor on his left arm, being silver. The rest of the mock is like the white and blue you'd associate with Ice Stripe. And I've been playing them. The one I'm working on currently is the Murmillo, which is one of the most common types, which is basically sword and shield. But they used to have a fish-styled helmet, so Keena's helmet's pretty much like spot on for that. So it's going to be a water tribe.
Yeah.
And I'm slowly working through those. I think I'm doing decent jobs. And another one I've got is a Schizo, which is the Glatorian that had like that weird like crescent blade hook fist thing. I don't know. There's like been a bit of an interest in my part in actually trying to look at reference of what these gladiator classes actually carried, and then trying to replicate that for a Bionicle. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
I'm ahead of this Renaissance curve, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
If we follow your estimates, I'm going to kick off in like 2 or 3 years from now. And it's going to be great.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Get it going now. You can look like you're someone that's ahead of the times. But
It's
yeah.
the 15-year anniversary of 09 right now. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
that's something.
That's something.
Revamp time.
Yeah.
But yeah, to shift some focus from 06 specifically, we're gonna talk about some of Noah's work. So yeah, how long have you been in the biotube space? It feels so weird saying biotube now, but it's like, how long have you been in the YouTube space?
How long have you been in the biz?
The word we use, you know.
Yeah, so yeah. I feel like it's an outdated term now.
Is it? Do people not use it anymore?
I don't know. It's like I don't hear people say it anymore. I remember that used to be like the big thing, like back in like 2015. People would be like, "Yeah, biotube and all that." Like, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, like, is there still like a biotube? I mean, like,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't think about that.
I'll say it is. It's just really heavily like cut down. I feel like there's a lot of people that have kind of like moved on,
Yeah.
which is kind of sad. The term I most hear coming up is a biogram. That's like on Instagram.
That was also like,
Seeing as,
I remember that
basically
one.
look around.
Biogram. I never heard of that one.
Yeah, I remember that from like the old days. Yeah, there's
We need to
Wow.
we need to initiate a movement. We need to bring in Biotalk. We need to migrate to TikTok.
I think
No!
I think that's actually a
Dude.
thing. I'm not even.
My brother actually is part of that. Like he sees this community like thrive on TikTok. It's his
wow.
generation, of course, but
Oh yeah, the brain rot.
I don't know. I haven't been TikToking like 4 months at this point. I installed it because my friend wanted to send me memes, and I was like, "Stop sending me memes of TikTok. I can't see them on like WhatsApp or whatever."
Yeah.
He said, "Well, make a TikTok then." So I begrudgingly made a TikTok to look at his stupid memes, and they're all about like conspiracy theories and stuff. And I'm like, "You're making me watch TikTok about conspiracy theories," you know.
Dang.
No, so I stopped opening TikTok.
Oh man.
Yeah,
These-
but I guess
the
to answer your
ice
question,
Burners.
what were we talking about? My channel?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah.
How long have you been doing
So
this now?
10 years. I
Yeah, 10
actually
years.
had my anniversary like 3 months ago, so
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's when I changed my profile pic and all that crap. It's yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so what was that? 2014. So
Yeah.
2013, like that year before, I was getting into like watching TTV and all that stuff. Like I was really like starting to get online because I mean before that I posted a lot on like Lego's official website, like the galleries and the
Oh
creation
yeah.
lab, which actually allowed you to post videos. So
Oh,
I had a
yeah.
big presence there, like, like 2010 to whenever. That was some of the first videos I edited. But yeah, and then
I remember basically being told that I'm not allowed to post many pictures anymore because I uploaded a picture that once had like a custom part and basically it was like immediately taken down.
yeah,
Oh man.
And I'm like, well, if I can't share what I want to share on Lego.com, I'm not going to share anything there anyway. There you go.
yeah. Wow. Banned.
Banned.
Wild.
Illegal parts usage.
Illegal.
Just include the baby Skokti and they'll be like, banned.
Yeah. Throw that out there.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
But yeah, no, all right.
So-
No, cool. Yeah, yeah. So it's been a little while now, and I heard from somebody that I won't reveal how I got this information, but I heard something about that you wanted to make like a Lego film adaptation of The Force Unleashed before Bionicle Origins.
Oh yeah, dude. That predated my channel. Like
Whoa.
I got super into that game, like, well, pretty much as soon as it came out. Like, I had the PS2 version,
Oh,
then
yeah,
when I got the PS3, I got the PS3 version, and the fact that, talk about video game differences, those games are completely different.
Oh
but-
yeah, yeah.
So, I was obsessed with that franchise, dude, and I wanted to recreate the entire, like, game, because the story is, like, so good and needs to be presented in, like, an encapsulating way. So that was really, like, the first, like, I guess, big thing I got excited about, and that didn't really happen, mostly because I didn't have the right parts.
No,
I
fair
had like
enough.
no rebel troopers and no stormtroopers, so
Oh,
that kind
man.
of fizzled out. But yeah, that was 2013, and 2014 rolled around, and then I made Origins that actually got put together, and yeah, the year later was the first Ignition film.
Nice.
So-
Yeah. How was it like making Origins?
Pretty similar to other stuff I did. Like I said, I had created a lot of videos, like not on YouTube, but for Lego's official website, or I just made a bunch of stuff just to show my siblings. They were like my first audience. But yeah, I literally made that film like as a thing to not really put on YouTube, but it ended up being great to launch a channel. And yeah, I mean, looking back, it's pretty rough right
Hey man. I
now,
mean,
but
it's the evolution of like your craft, right? Like,
yeah,
I think that's the best way to like look at like older stuff that we do.
totally.
Yeah, and I still have a fun time like rewatching that. Like it's surprisingly pretty accurate. Like it's kind of crazy. Like especially because like a lot of that lore was kind of like spread out throughout different serials and even like different like things that were brought up in different books and things like that. You use Biosector to find all that material, or?
Yep. Yeah, I just pulled up the synopsis for like the pre-history of whatever era it was, like before 2001 story pretty much, and I was like, all right, let's just make a movie out of this, and I followed it beat for beat. It was, so that's why it's so accurate, is I just pull the information from there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. But yeah, no, that's really cool. So like when it came to 06, like how was it like writing that? 'Cause, like I guess like to kind of put it this way, for Origins you had to basically make the screenplay from scratch, and then with Ignition 1, like how much of that was from scratch and how much of that was kind of Greg's work?
It was mostly from scratch. I definitely lifted, some scenes and stuff from Greg's work, like the comics, and but I didn't really get like super detailed with it. Ignition 2 is like word for word everything, and I kind of prefer that style just because I'm not the best, especially back then. I wasn't the best screenwriter, like, but it works. It has my own little funny flair to it. So
Yeah. No, it's cool. It's cool. But yeah, like, what were kind of like the key things that you were like focusing on when like adapting those stories? Because like adaptation, I always find like for me, like being like a writer and like a filmmaker, like it's always a tricky thing, and you always see people take different approaches to it. I definitely really like the approach that you took with the Ignition films, and even with Origins as well. What's like, what was your kind of method when going about that in terms of like deciding like what to kind of like keep accurate, and then versus like what you think suited maybe like the film a little bit more, if you could, if there's any examples of that?
Yeah, I mean, '06 was pretty straightforward. I just kind of followed the story that we all know and love, and yeah, it's definitely more complicated with Ignition 2 having to incorporate all the serials, and I did a lot more detail with that, where I storyboarded, which is mostly just me scribbling in a notebook, but yeah, Ignition 1, not as much detail that I can remember went into it. Like, I kind of just got my figures together and started shooting the scenes. I wrote it all in like a Google Doc, right? Like, that was where the script lived, and I had the scenes all mapped out, so that made it pretty easy. But yeah, I guess I really like, my favorite part of it is like the visual like aspect to it, trying to like translate what's like in my mind's eye when I'm like reading the information. And obviously the comics helped a lot with that too, but like it was really fun to like present, like, especially like Vazon scenes in like that volcanic area. It was pretty sick to kind of just make come alive.
Yeah, no, that was really, really cool. What would you say like was like the most like challenging part of making those films? Because every project, especially like fan projects, they all kind of face different challenges. Like some people have trouble when it comes to animating, some people have trouble when it comes to editing, or even just filming or something like that. Like which part was kind of like the most challenging for you to face?
I mean, animating was not too bad. I kept my animations pretty simple, as you could see when you watch it. Nothing like too crazy that. But I guess editing was probably the most time-consuming thing, like getting everything together. Yeah, I remember it just taking a lot of time. So
what did you
use
to edit the first one?
Camtasia.
Camtasia.
Yeah, Camtasia right. Studios. Yeah, my first software that allowed me to green screen. So that's what I was all about. I was like, let's find some Google images. No,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really cool.
I mean, it worked, didn't it?
Yeah, no, it all worked out.
As a first time major project, I want to say the first Ignition film was a massive success.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Like, got a lot of views. That's my most viewed video still, is the first Ignition, actually. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, like I remember being a kid and seeing like the views like slowly start racking up, and it's like, how many people are watching this? Like this, like, how many people are like into Bionicle or just gonna watch a 2-hour film? That's awesome.
Watch that long of a movie, dude. It's crazy. Yeah. I'm blessed, and I have to give so much credit to like obviously I did all the animating and all that stuff, but like the voice acting like really like it gives the characters life. Versus
Mhm.
Origins, it was just like me doing all the voices, but like you guys, like it's so cool that I'm even talking to you. Like
Yeah, I know, it's
I'm just
awesome.
really grateful.
Well, I'm really. Well, I've been looking forward to having you on here for a while. Like, you're definitely one of the first guests I like wrote down in my head mentally. Be like, I gotta get Noah on here at some point. Um,
Thanks.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Um, but like, how did you go about like getting some of those Paraka voice actors and some of the Baraki ones? Like, cause like, I mean, like, I appreciate the compliments of like me being like in the films, but like they're like those guys were like professionals. Like a
They
lot of the
really were,
cast, yeah.
dude.
Like there was this like it was
Crazy.
crazy. Like I think that was like what really got me into the films when I first watched them. I was like I was just blown away by the voice cast, like from especially
Yeah.
like the villains and all that, and still like recognizing some community member voices in
Mhm.
there. Yeah, like it's just the how did you go about the kind of like semi like directing like those scenes of like voice acting, like what like how was your experience of that, especially dealing with like professionals?
Yeah, I mean, everyone who voices in there, they are Bionicle fans, like first and foremost. Now, some of them like responded to that auditions video I put out, and some of them I like solicited like directly to them because like they had done work for Jackson Trent, did a really cool comic dub series, and I really was into that, and I was like, why don't I just like reach out to these people that are in the credits? Like that's where you find like the voice actors for all the Paraka were in there, the Baraki too. So all those
Mm,
guys, like I messaged them on YouTube back when YouTube had that feature to privately message. That's
yeah,
a
I remember
that's a
that.
that's a throwback.
You can add
Uh,
YouTubers like Fred and Annoying Orange to your friends list and then message them. It's just kind
Yeah.
of
So what a weird world.
yeah, like you
Uh,
definitely don't have that anymore. You can't just
now it's
message.
just Discord.
Yeah, now it's just Discord. You just got to track down their Discord name and stalk them on
Right.
there and yeah,
Yeah.
find their Facebook profile. but um, but yeah,
Oh
no,
man.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, but no, like those like yeah, that cast is just really really well done. And I found out that the guy that played Vizok, Toe of Ultimate Doom, he actually lives semi close
Yeah.
to me. He lives in like the
Yeah,
same
he's
province.
Canadian. I remember that.
Yeah, yeah, he lives on like this
Yeah.
island that's I won't say
Yeah.
specifically where, just because I don't want to dox him.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. I love him.
Yeah, no,
He's
he's really cool.
done a lot of work with me. Uh yeah.
Yeah, no, so that yeah, like that was really cool. Um, what was it like watching like the final like versions for the first time? Like it was, I mean, like you kind of go through different experiences when watching like the rough cuts and like
Yep.
seeing all that like kind of like how it piles in together at the end. Like what was it like watching the final versions of each one?
Yeah, dude, like that's really what kept me going. Every time I completed a scene, like just rewatching it and being like, this is really cool that this is coming together. Like and then like that final cut that you're talking about, getting all the scenes like they were all like rendered out to their own files. So they were like, however many scenes, like 70 files like lined up with the music. It was like really like what's the word, like cathartic, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's coming together, man. And then obviously, yeah, when I posted it, that was like a big high. Like
Hmm.
this is really cool that this is finally done after a year of work or whatever, and to see the all the comments and Ignition 2 in particular I did as a like a live premiere type of thing, and that is one of my most like cherished memories just in general, like having the my fans like messaging while the film was playing was just so cool. But I
Yeah.
mean, Ignition 2 or Ignition 1 much the same way. I just didn't have that premiere, but yeah, it was still really cool to sit back and see it come together. I showed it to my siblings, of course. Like that was a really cool moment. That was probably the first time I watched it all the way through. So
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's just always such a unique experience. I have a question regarding
yeah,
Ignition 2. There's that
Yep.
beginning scene with Prydac and Pterodax. Did you write that
Yeah,
like
dude.
yourself?
I stole some dialogue from Greg, definitely.
Yeah.
Um, like, yeah, that was just like kind of tacked on like midway through. I feel like I was like, I need like some good strong intro, you know? Like we got to show like some setup with Pterodax and Prydac a little bit, because um, otherwise you'd have to go to Origins, and I
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, I just get
yeah,
that, and like I
but
don't think like
yeah,
yeah, I don't think like that's too much of like an issue like going back to another film, but definitely putting it on like in the beginning to kind of like
yeah,
whether someone hasn't seen Origins or they need that refreshing, I think or refresher, I just think thought that was a really great idea,
yeah.
and
Thanks.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's probably one of my favorite scenes from like all of your content. Like it's just like a really well done scene. Like the voice direction was really good, and I asked about the original dialogue because like I went on like a binge like a while ago, like reading all the original serials and trying to find like these old stories regarding like pre 2001 or
Yeah.
pre Legends of Metro Neo type stories. And I couldn't find any that was like just like that. So yeah, I just want to
Huh.
say like that was definitely like that's definitely probably like that's in my head canon. Like I definitely love that scene. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'll have to look back. Maybe I did like write most of that dialogue. 'Cause like I had, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, no, I really like
yeah,
that one. What was so in regards to like the future? I mean, obviously, like you're not making Ignition 3. I talked to the guy that's making it like a few weeks ago.
yeah.
Um, so like for your future content, what's your primary focus?
My channel has always been just kind of whatever, like, I get inspired to make or comes to mind, you know. So as of like the last month, it was a Crash Bandicoot video.
Yeah,
So, and, that stuff doesn't really get as many views. I don't care. Like, I just this was for the 20th anniversary of my favorite game, so I'm just like, I'm gonna put this out there, and that's how I am with most of my content, you know. I obviously, as I said, I celebrated my 10-year anniversary, and I did a lot of like reflective stuff on
mm,
that. So as far as the future goes, like I kind of want to start with like something like kind of fresh and new. I have a series idea that has been churning in the background for like, and the past like 4 or 5 years, honestly. So
mm.
that may launch as its own separate channel. Like I'm still trying to figure out the mechanics of that, but when it's time, I will definitely be promoting it on my main channel, obviously. But yeah, I
Yeah,
just really want to get into some of my own original stuff. I guess that's the long term goal.
yeah. No, I definitely respect that a lot. I mean, like I used to be like back when I was in like middle school and like high school era, like I was like obsessed with making like fan like content. Like I was always trying to I was at least filming like Bionicle like stop motions or trying to do like some like thing that wasn't my own like IP. I definitely
Yeah,
grew into that as I was getting like out of high school and all that. And it's definitely like fun working like with your own stuff and all that. And it's definitely fun working with like the IP kind of things, but like I feel like for me, like basically my only fan film kind of rule is like, okay, if it's Bionicle, I can do it. you know,
sure.
um,
Yeah,
just I find like what sets Bionicle like apart from like other IPs is like it's not like necessarily like a primary one like anymore, unfortunately, and
yeah,
the fans kind of somewhat own it at this point, even though Lego like still owns it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty
like
cool.
yeah, and I feel like a lot of people have like certain like you're with like Bionicle, like you're more likely to find people that are gonna take a reapproach to it, versus like
Yeah,
a lot of other kind of fan films that either try to recreate something or like they do something that's an homage to a certain thing, and you definitely find that with Bionicle still. But yeah, Bionicle is just again like, for some reason for me, I'm just like it's the only one where I'm like yeah I'm okay with doing a
It's
Bionicle short or like a Bionicle film or
yeah,
something.
it's so iconic, dude. It's part of my DNA at this point. Like that and Crash Bandicoot. That
Yeah.
is
Oh
that is
yeah.
a reoccurring theme on my channel, and I'm so blessed like to have all these fans that are of Bionicle that have kind of followed me, and I appreciate that. I
Yeah.
have these. Yeah,
Oh, it's
that
cool.
recognition is pretty cool,
Oh, it's
and I
awesome.
yeah,
You'll always have street cred with me,
awesome,
bro.
sweet.
If Hello
Yeah,
Productions has no fans, I'm dead. Like, yeah, no. But yeah, but for your original IP, like, are you able to give out any details at the moment, or is that something that you're kind of just waiting to kind of
yeah,
get
I'm kind of
final?
holding off on that. Like, it's gonna be my own like animated series, so there's that, and like I'm really inspired by all the characters I've created over the years for like my more like original Bionicle stuff, like like Stars Heist and the Spherus stuff, and
Yeah,
like
Spheres, yeah.
the friggin' like Living Chicken. Like I don't know how deep you are into my channel, but like those are my favorite things I've made is like my own characters, like
Mm.
so it'll be an adaptation of that pretty much,
No, that's cool. That's cool.
continuing like the spirit of that creativity. Yeah.
No, yeah. In regards to that, to like your own like original like works, would you ever make a project like in the vein of like Ignition again, where it's like it's a big like task and like it's gonna like take a while? Like, do you think like you would do like a project kind of like that again with like your own original stuff?
I'd love to. I'm definitely thinking smaller scale right now, but
Mm, yeah. Oh yeah.
in the
Really in
future,
the future. Yeah.
like a pilot, like there's so many like pilot episodes on YouTube that just garner a lot of like, you know, interest. So that's a dream.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, that'll be sick. That'll be sick.
Yeah.
Um.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah. No. Of course. Yeah. No. I'm always looking forward to seeing like what people are still active, like what they're up to. Um. Got any questions off the top of your head level? You've been quiet for a while, almost suspiciously quiet.
um, I don't know. I'm just letting Noah bask in the spotlight because obviously he's the main guest today.
Yeah, no, no.
But
um,
you got your own cool stuff going on with like your game you were talking about. Like that's awesome. I love
yeah,
that.
I mean, I've also got a whole bunch of animation projects I want to do with Bionicle specifically because,
Yeah.
as we were talking before the recording, I've pretty much almost dedicated my life towards gearing shift into making a Bionicle film, at least one. You know,
Nice.
obviously once I get the ball rolling, if it starts stacking up a bit like how Ignition did, and starts getting all the views and stuff, I'm probably just going to make more. It's not
Mm.
like I'm going to make one and then just completely bin it afterwards, even if it does get a following. Obviously, if it doesn't get a following, well, then maybe it might be time to reconsider other options.
Well, I mean, a
But
following isn't everything.
the thing is, no, yeah, I know. But regardless, though, from the way I've seen the Bionicle community recently, I feel if projects are done well, they tend to do well. Because I
Yes.
don't know about you guys, but I feel like the Bionicle community that remains is still very close knit. We might not know, I might not know everyone by list, I might not be able to tell you like half of the people in the community, but when something drops, everyone's in on it,
Yeah,
everyone's
Yeah,
brought together again,
it's true.
yeah, no,
It really is.
I know, well, like, even back then, like back in like the Ignition days, like I still knew a good amount of people, but like I feel like now, even though I only have like 100 subs on my new channel, I feel like I kind of know like 90 or 80% of people in the Bionicle community. Like I've just like whether I've talked to them through people I know with like Ignition 3 or something. Like it's kind of weird like how tight it is, and if there's definitely like a
Yeah.
new project on the rise, like there will be people that want to help with that or get involved in some way.
Mm.
Like primarily a lot of like voice actors, which is kind of like tough if you're looking for like animators, if you're looking for like editors or something, something that's other than that. But like there are
Yeah.
definitely people that want to get involved and just make stuff like just for the fun of it, right? So I mean, there's
So encouraging.
yeah, it's really
Yeah.
encouraging. And even outside of Bionicle too, like if you're making a game, you can
Oh yeah,
definitely.
like I know if I need help with anything, I know I can ask the community, and there will be someone out there who might be mildly interested.
Oh yeah, no, dude,
Right?
there's
You know,
always
even
somebody.
if the project itself has absolutely nothing to do with it. You know, it's actually a major thing that we were trying to get up and working with the Scholars community server on Discord, was supposed to make a space for people to find this kind of help from other members of the Barnacle community, even if the project itself wasn't necessarily Barnacle related. This, however, hasn't really kicked off, sadly. But if you look at the chat, if you look at the server, it's still quite visible. That's the intention.
I can add it in the description of the video, so if anyone's watching that's interested, they can
Yeah,
look at it.
sure. Yeah, I mean, like as I said, you know, we've not really been doing anything for a while. I do want to start that up. I did mention this last time. But you know, the idea was to try and create a community that would help each other with their projects, regardless of the project's theme. Let's say, well, bar something, of course. If it's a bit too adult, for example, it's probably a no.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah.
You find people for that
Yeah.
in your own time.
But
But you know,
Right.
if it's I've got like someone's like, I've got a stop motion, but I need help with editing or something, or I need voice actors. I need someone to help me story this. So the idea behind the server was to try and make this communal space that people could like find the help for their projects.
yeah, well, I feel
But
like
yeah.
you can definitely still get that going. Just it's just inviting everyone that you're kind of like in the webs with to kind of like get in on that, and then they can tell other people, and then I think it's
Yeah.
just it's not a matter of like finding people. I think it's just more so finding people that are like working on stuff with that type of server, because I know like with me, like there's a big project that I want to get going, but like I'm not like announcing anything until I can actually guarantee it getting going. So I'm just spending a lot of time like the writing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I can't like be like, oh, I'm looking for this or that, because then I'm gonna have a bunch of people waiting
Yeah.
on that, which isn't fair to other people. And I want to make sure that
Mhm.
I can make quality kind of stuff somewhat without getting other people to help. Like so. I'm one of those people where like I would just prefer to do most of the stuff by myself, and so there's something that I have no idea how to
Yeah.
do, you know.
Same, dude. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool though. I mean, it's cool the collaboration, but I've always been like a solo type of person, I guess.
Yeah.
Which
I feel like I'm in a similar boat as well. Like I prefer try to sort things out first for myself. If I need help, then I'll search for it.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah. But yeah, no. Is there anything that we want to finish off with? I feel like this has been a pretty awesome episode.
I need more Barnacle music on Spotify.
Yeah,
dude, we just
we have like the Cryo Show stuff, and we have Move Along.
yeah.
Basically anything else, silent. I guess
need to
Dorsey
get-
stuff on there, but you know it's
You gotta-
expected. But you know
You
we
gotta
have the
get
other-
MP3s, dude. I just listen to
Yeah,
I just
I
have
have
hacked
those.
iTunes, you know.
I have those. The thing is that whilst I can play the MP3s from my PC, when I'm about on my phone, it doesn't sync up.
Oh,
I'm
I
about
guess
to put it
dude.
on my phone.
Samsung.
I don't know what you got, but I got Apple Music and I can put files on there via iTunes on my computer. It's great.
Mm.
Like
Yeah, I used
So
to do
it-
that as a kid. Yeah.
it's but I was gonna say like CryoShell. Listen through the entire CryoShell discography like today on like an hour-long car ride we had. It was fun. I hadn't listened to like a lot of the newer songs they did, so
Yeah, no.
it's
Cryo
good
Shell's
stuff,
just
man.
Good.
Yeah,
You know,
they got
I've been
such a unique style.
yeah, I've recently been keeping up with the Linkin Park stuff because the vibes are back, boys.
Yeah, they got a new singer, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
but they've managed. I want to say it's obviously not the same, but they've managed to try, or at least I feel that they've managed to capture a lot of the similar vibes as their earlier 2000 stuff, and
Nice.
that's for me prime Bionicle stuff.
Yeah, the Bayformers.
Yeah,
or,
that sound.
Bionicle.
So good.
It's like I remember one of the first like Bionicle music videos I watched was recollection of like the animated CG trailers with the 2003 sets
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Stuff.
Yeah.
with Faint.
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Rock
That's,
On. That one's just there you go.
Oh,
whenever
dude.
I think of that faint song, like I always just picture Bionicle with it, just because it was
Yeah.
used so many times in like edits, and like even Bionicle Fighters 2 used that one as like the primary like
Yeah.
track with it. It's just like, okay, this is like the Bionicle Linkin Park song.
For me, it's the final countdown. There was a video on YouTube I saw like right around when 2008 was going on. That was like
Mhm.
such classic YouTube, man.
Oh yeah, no, that's sick. Oh man,
Good stuff.
I miss the music videos people would make with like the commercials and stuff. We need to bring that back. You know?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Screw,
we gotta make more of this crap.
screw
That'll be my
podcasts.
next upload.
We'll just
Yeah,
do
yeah.
the-
Well,
Let's do it.
I don't want to say much, but a couple years ago, I was taking a motion graphics course, and they were like, "All right, well, we're gonna have you guys pick one of
Love
the like these video types on this list, and you're gonna make like
Yeah.
a little short, like 30 seconds, like clip it of it."
Yeah.
And I saw like lyric music video was on there, and I was like, "I'm going with
Sweet.
that. I'm going with Bye Bye Babylon. I'm doing Glutorian
Oh,
Slime."
yeah.
I remember you telling me
And-
this.
Dude, send me this.
I haven't got on hand at the minute, but when I do, I'll send you what I got.
That's so
But
cool.
I remember that basically the secretary manager that was like overviewing the project, but when we were like discussing ideas and stuff, she later said that she had to go on basically this like hour deep dive trying to find out what Bionicles were so she could understand what I'm trying to animate. And I'm like, yes,
Wow.
I got random people to read up on Bionicle. Does it have any impact? No.
That's great. I did Lego stop motions for some of my college projects. That was
Oh, that's awesome.
pretty fun.
I did a high
Yeah.
school project with the guy that voiced Deparu in the first Ignition film.
Yeah.
It's on the Ignition channel. It's like a re-upload, but like, or not Ignition Zone channel, I should say, not whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, like, yeah, no, it's always fun implementing stop motion and Bionicle into like things that are like not passion related. You're like, yay, I can
Yeah.
use this.
It's funny.
Oh,
Yeah,
But yeah.
fun times.
oh, fun.
Yeah, 2006. That's what this podcast is about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do we all want to say anything else about that year? I guess. I mean, obviously, on the topic of music, "Move Along" is like so good.
Dude, yeah, like
Yeah.
that was one of those songs as a kid I just had like I would literally record like a voice memo through my iPod of like
Yeah.
my computer because I wouldn't know how to like download an MP3 to my iPod. So I would just
Sure.
do the voice memos and like play it through my desktop and then like record it on my phone or my iPod at the time and then listen to it later.
Yeah.
Like,
I did the same kind of stuff. I started with a cassette player.
oh
I would
yeah.
put my
Hell
computer
yeah.
speaker up to a cassette player and record it that way.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, there's one little comment I want to say is Rip
Yeah.
Harley. Harley's mask is absolutely horrible for that character.
Oh,
The ugliest mask ever. I'm
well,
sorry,
you know, it's
I'm
like got
straight
the
up
water
saying it.
vibes to it. You know, the tubes are like, water
I
themes.
the minute I saw it, there's on tubes. That's a mustache. This is a fucking Pringles Barnacle. Fight me.
I don't think it's like that bad. Like I think
Wow.
it's just more so that it's like I don't know. I'm trying to like word myself correctly. I just don't know if it fits the character, I guess. But like again, like it's been like a mask since literally when I got into Bionicle, so it doesn't bother me. But I'm still
Yeah,
like,
true. We
Yeah.
kind of are numb to it, you know.
yeah, I'm
It's
definitely
like,
known to
Yeah,
it,
like no. I want to say like as a mask, it's not bad, but you know, as a mask for the female character, I do not like the mustache.
yeah,
Fight me.
that's true. But were blue characters ever really like designed to look female? Like,
No,
I mean,
Yeah,
but
like a lot of people
my
didn't know
point
Dolly
stands,
was
like,
a
I've-
girl.
with the
Uh,
exception of Galley, maybe, but like,
yeah, but regardless, I just feel that the mask doesn't fit the character that well. I understand the tubes, I
Yeah.
understand the whole underwater thing. It just does not look nice for the character. But you know, it is what it is.
toxic
It's,
personality. They ruined Yuki's face for me. Like, it's just the judge. It's no one else.
Yeah, he's
It's
definitely...
Tanner's like insipid laughter in my brain every time I see it. Yeah.
Oh my. Oh, do we want to clown on any more of the Nika heads, or we're gonna call it there?
well, here's a little bit of discussion. Which one was your favorite out of the 6?
Favorite like
I'll start
mask or
through
like
Ichijawa.
set?
Yeah. Mask. I want to say I'm quite privy to Jala's mask. I think that one looked pretty good.
Yeah,
Oh, dude.
Jala is probably my favorite one to look at as a mask. I don't mind the Kongu one actually. I like that it's kind of like
Yeah, that's a good one.
mismatching. And he has like he has something going on with his teeth, like he's like, "Arr!" So I like it.
Yeah.
Naparu's mask is pretty good too. He's got the horns. He's got like the
Yeah, the
rock-
mohawk
the
type
spikes.
thing, you know?
yeah, yeah.
That was edgy AF, you know?
Yeah, he's like a Green Day member. It's awesome, but
Oh my goodness.
no, that was another
I
band
walk
I
a
got
lonely
exposed
road.
to.
That's another one. More memories.
Holy crap.
I saw a
I
Green
I liked
Day
how like the
concert when I was
teeth were
10.
visible in some of them. You
Yeah,
know?
I do
Like
like
the
that
white
too.
from the good detail.
Yeah, it's a really good detail.
There's things to like.
There's definitely things to like for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I can
Could
definitely
You say
understand.
Jollar's you say Jollar's mask. I am just connected his face with your voice. So
Oh God, yeah.
like hearing you speak right now, I'm like this whole podcast I've been thinking of Jollar.
That's
His
hilarious,
face.
bro. Oh,
Jaller.
man.
It's so weird, but
It's great.
you know.
This is why I voice two characters. I have a disassociation now.
Crap,
You're
I was trying to think this whole podcast. You're Taragaduma and who else?
Oh, come on, let's see. Let's get them brain working.
Okay.
It's from a
Levels.
similar era. I'll say that.
Duma and friggin' was it in the first Ignition?
Yes.
Is
That
that-
was in the first ignition, yes.
Yeah. Leva wasn't in
Dang.
the second one.
Oh,
Sad.
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a quick cameo too.
Yeah, it was like something really, really quick. Like
I had about total of like 2 minutes of screen time in the entire ignition film, and of
Yeah.
which most of that was Doom. Doom.
dang. I feel so bad.
He was
Like-
also red. They were both red.
They were both red.
Oh, it was Norik.
Nope.
No? Oh. That's not even
You're kind of getting
Ignition
close.
1.
You're kind
Oh.
of getting close.
You're getting close. Same build and set. There
Oh,
you go.
oh. Wait, Lacan?
Yep.
Yeah,
It
he voiced
is.
Lacan for 2 or 3 lines.
Voice Duma and Lacan.
Was Doom and Lacan.
That's fitting.
and-
Yeah.
That was so funny.
When did Lacan even show up in the movie?
There's a
watched
scene
this
where
film and,
Jala's
like-
going through like a bunch of tunnels or something. He has like a little bit of a vision, right? And
Yeah, it's like
Lacan.
how the
Yo, boy.
the Paraka see Nectan, and then they see Lacan.
Oh yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
My brilliant cameo.
the amazing cameo.
Yeah, dude. Well,
I'm
You
not just
know-
thinking about it now, right? It's a lot of the voice acting I've done for other biotroopers so far have been red marks or characters.
Hey, there you go.
This is weird because my self mark is dark green and black. It's
Yeah,
like
it's funny.
contrary colors. What?
yeah,
Oh, that's hilarious.
it's funny. Dang.
All right, I think I'm gonna end the recording there.
All right.
All right. Thank you
Is
all
this
so much
just
for
fair?
watching. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, this is fair.
Yes. Yeah. I'm just gonna.
The
Yeah.
rambling setting in.
Yeah, no, I want to get ahead of that because, like, yeah, I'm pretty bad with it. We can do the rambling off the recording as then we can be unfiltered. So thank you all for listening, and thank you so much, Noah, for coming on episode 10 of Toa Talk, and I hope to have you on another time. I'm definitely love to have
Happy
you
to
back.
be here. Yeah.
No, thanks for watching.
Great to
guys.
talk to you.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming on.